Hello and welcome, past and present snobs. This is my review of the Indiegogo comic book, She, Return of the Warrior. Let me show you first all the items that I received from the Indiegogo. So normally I get what is I would call it the average tier. So what the promoted tier, or what is the most usual tier for any Indiegogo. Not always, but I kind of get what the average person would get. So these are all the things that I received from my, with all the stretch goals fulfilled. This is what I got. All these cards. In addition, this print, the black line edition, and the book itself. I'm not a big fan of trading cards or any of that stuff, but I have to say the art on this is just fantastic, and you can't tell in the video, but there's a bit of a texture to it. I mean, they went all out on some of these. You know, look at this stuff. It's just beautiful. It's the best trading cards and art I have had on any Indiegogo that I've received so far. So I would say that Billy Tucci is setting the standard, and he's the guy to beat if you're if you're interested in that sort of thing. So great job for Tucci. Also, I'll mention the shipping as well. So first of all, with the exception of one tiny fault that I got on one book that was shipped to me, everything that's been shipped that I've received has come in, in a Gemini mailer or some sort of thing like that, and it's come perfectly. So I have no concerns with any of the books that have been shipped to me so far. So I won't touch on that too much because I think it's been done very well. And I will say something about Tucci's fulfillment. The way it was working is that I saw on Twitter on a weekend that he was, packing all of his books, and then, he basically took the weekend to go. It looks like he took a whole bunch of people in his house. They packed everything up and they shipped it right away. And I have to say, it was probably maybe a week, 5-7 days, and I got my stuff. So his fulfillment was super fast. I saw it on Twitter. The next thing you know, the book is in my hand. And I do not live in the United States, so I don't have, sometimes when you ship internationally, things take a little bit longer. But his was quick and fast. I have to say, a great job to him. So looking at the cards, best cards that I've seen. The art is fantastic. So let's talk about the three main products from what I received from Billy Tucci and his Indiegogo. So first, let's talk about the print. Beautiful, love the colors. I'm not an art expert. I know what I like, that's about it. But there's a little bit of texture to it. I mean, it's just beautiful, so well done. All of the art in this book and all the pieces he gave is amazing. I think we'll talk about the main book itself. So you can see the main book. It's signed by Billy Tucci. I'll be honest, when I first, the cover, again, beautiful. I love the art. But again, when I first saw the book, I was a little disappointed. It looks a little bit thin. So my big thing is story. I like story more than anything. So if the story is great and the art is mediocre, I don't care. I want a good story. Now, good art, of course, can greatly improve the book, but it's kind of secondary to me. But I'll say this. Billy has brought, he's brought the A game on the art. It just looks beautiful. I love it. Now let me get into the book a little bit. Now again, it looks a little bit short, but it's the art is gorgeous inside as well, as you can see. The story is actually, it seems a lot longer than it looks. The story, it takes you down a path. It tells a whole story and it leaves it open. This is kind of the intro. He's getting back into his story. It's kind of the intro, but he gives you a good enough story. And the reason that I think that the story seemed longer than it is. Like, as I said, it looks small with the amount of pages, but it seems longer than it is because I think he doesn't waste a panel. The way that he writes and the way that he draws is put together so well that everything, you look at a page, and sometimes in some books, you look at a page and you're like, well, nothing happened on that whole page. It's like filler. But every panel of Tucci's writing tells a key point of the story. So I don't really want to give the story away, but it's a little bit of a twist. It's not it's a twist that you can see it coming. I didn't really. I was so engrossed in the story that I didn't really notice, and I was kind of like, well, wait a sec. I kind of saw the twist just before it happened, but that's perfectly fine. Not a wasted panel. A good, very good story. I will definitely get the next book. It's so well done. I don't want to show the whole thing and give it all away, but just look at that. Look at the detail in it, the colors, everything. I have no complaints at all. Skip a little bit ahead. Some of the shots. It gives you. It's a good way to get you into the story. It gives you a little bit of background on She. I don't know the character of She. I have not. I didn't read her before this. Of course, I heard about her. This story is set, some 20 years. I think it's been since She, since the original She. She is a mother. She has a daughter. It gives you all the information about that. So there's a lot to go in. Her daughter is kind of training to be a warrior as well. So there's a lot of, she goes in there and does her own. Wants to go back and be a warrior, but yet her daughter is kind of following in her footsteps. She's concerned about her daughter. I'm sure there'll be a lot more to that later. But very well done. I can't. Story is great. Now let's just take a look quick at the line art. So this is not as high quality as the book itself, right? It's a floppy. It's done on newsprint, but again, the color looks. I'm kind of. Well, is this newsprint? It's thin. I don't think it's newsprint. It's thin like newsprint, but it's not quite. It's more of a whitish. Maybe a type of newsprint. I'm not a big fan of older comics because of the newsprint. I like the higher quality stuff that that you get from an Indiegogo or some of the more expensive books nowadays. But I mean, look at the art. The art is still beautiful. The colors still look great, even on this version. I mean, if all newsprint books felt like this and looked like this, I wouldn't have any complaints about newsprint. The art is just incredible. And this tells this story is this is like a bit of a look back at what she was kind of like, if I'm correct here. So it's giving you a little bit of background on her. So if you're someone like me and you don't know anything of what she was like before, you had never seen her before, never read her books before, then you're getting a little bit of a background. But this was well worth it. I mean, normally I would be, oh, they give me this, all right, fine, I'll take it. But I wouldn't normally be interested in in a line art variant and newsprint. But because the story is good, the colors, the art is excellent. It's also signed. I don't have any complaints. So just to summarize my review, I mean, I think that this was an excellent Indiegogo, well worth the amount that I paid for it. If this is going to be the quality of his further books, then I have no I have no hesitation to sign up for his next offering. And what I would recommend is, now that I've seen this, I mean, I still want to see the next part of this story, but I would be very interested in seeing some sort of a look back, or a republished version of the old She comics. This was enough to make me want to see that. So I would suggest to Billy Tucci that something that you should do. You should be doing something similar to what Ethan Van Sciver is doing with his Unforgettable or his Warts and All type stuff. You should start putting out some sort of the old stuff, because I would be interested in that as well. So I hope you enjoyed this this quick review of She: Return of the Warrior. Again, I highly recommend it. The story is good, is very good. The art is amazing. I think this might be the best Indiegogo I've seen so far for overall, for the quality of the art and all the things you get and all that stuff. So I don't know if it's still in demand. If you can get a copy of it, definitely go and get it. And this is my I'm going to start doing more reviews of various comics, including Indiegogo ones. So watch this space for that, and make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff.